This is the On to Mark Wrestling Podcast. Kick back and hang with your hosts, Kayode, Lewis, and Joel. Let's mark out.
Cut the music. 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 Welcome to episode 94, people. This is your boy Kayode. This is On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, joined by none other than the fellas themselves. Three-man band. The booth is back. Lewis, the administrator, is back. Joel, fellas, what's going on with you? How y'all doing tonight?
What's going on, fellas? It's good to be back in business. We got a pretty interesting episode because we got some love to show. We got some hate. And, it's going to be back to business as usual.
Joel, what's going on with you, man? Back to business as usual. We had a good show last week, episode 93. Your take on Toni Storm being the best champion in wrestling right now is getting a lot of talk on TikTok right now. People are agreeing. They're like, yo, I see it. Some people saying Jay. I don't agree with that. Jay, no, I don't agree with that at all. I think you got something.
I would love to hear what their debate is, because I'm looking around at the whole industry and Toni Storm is leagues above anybody else when we're talking world champs right now.
Yeah.
I
agree. But we got to get into some business, y'all. We got to talk about it. It looks like WWE is no longer the family business it was before. It looks like it's straight corporate, every man for themselves. No one's safe. People were saying, yo, if this was Vince's WWE, would we have seen this many releases? Would we have seen these significant releases of like your legacy stars? So we're gonna get into it. Lewis, I think you got us an admin report.
Yes. It's time for the administrator's report. It's been a while, but let's dive right into it. So for this administrator's report, we got to talk about all of the recent non-renewals of contracts, official releases, all that stuff. So over the past week, R-Truth announced that he's no longer going to be with the company. Carlito also came out and said that WWE will not be renewing his contract when it's up later this month. I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks or something like that.
Sarah Logan of Valhalla, or whatever she was calling herself, she is walking away from the business entirely as well. So now you have 3 officially who aren't returning, and there's rumors that The Miz, the one and only The Miz, the company guy, the biggest man of the last decade and a half for WWE, he has apparently removed all WWE related things from his social media. So rumor has it he's next, that he'll be walking away. So it begs the question, where does WWE go from here? Are we going to get more releases of those longest tenured employees? Are we going to get releases of people who they just are not feeling and they don't feel like investing any more time and money into? So this is where we're at, And Kayode, you brought up a very interesting question. Would this have been the situation if Vince was still in charge? My answer is yes, because when Vince was running things, he was running it like a business. And annually, you would always have that period of time right after WrestleMania where you would get like a dozen and a half, maybe 2 dozen releases in a 6-week span. Oh, yeah. And some of those people included those legacy stars like R-Truth or Carlito, who they just didn't really see a need to feature on television anymore. R-Truth in this case is particularly surprising just because he was part of a major program with John Cena. He's still over with the crowd. It's amazing how over he is still, right? And that's a testament to his talent. He's got the comedic timing. He's goofy. He owns the goofiness of his character, which is what I love. But I don't think R-Truth is somewhat shocking, but this man has been around the company for so long, but he hasn't done anything too substantial for me to be like, oh my God, it's R-Truth. Because the internet was just like going crazy over R-Truth release.
Crazy.
As
Yeah.
if as if like he's regularly main eventing Raw, SmackDown, or
Right.
PLEs. Like R-Truth he's a national treasure in the pro wrestling community. We get that. We love him, we honor him, all of that. But it's a business move. Business is business. Same thing with Carlito. I generally have enjoyed Carlito's work, but what has he done since coming back to WWE other than being a side character for the Judgment Day stable? And I say character because that's just what he is. He's not
Yeah.
really doing much to add to the group other than just being in the background, making a smart comment or a funny joke with the apple. Like he wasn't really doing much. So for him not returning or rather leaving WWE, that's not all that surprising. Sarah Logan,
Man.
they weren't, you know what I'm saying? They weren't doing much with her.
No.
The Miz would be somewhat surprising only because The Miz plays such a crucial role in the media relations with WWE and everything else out there, right? He was like literally the company's yes man. He was like the go-to guy for media representation. But yeah, what do y'all think of all of these releases, non-contract renewals?
Joe, what you think, man? You go. You go because
I mean, I definitely get what you're saying, Lewis. It's a business move for sure at the end of the day. But I think the R-Truth thing is shocking just because it seems like he was going to be a lifer, right? Like, and I think that's kind of why it hit fans and wrestlers as such a shock. Because I think that was a big reason why the internet kind of started, being the internet and producing their like thoughts on all these things, because it was like you saw all the wrestlers come out and say like, damn, R-Truth, we're gonna miss you, and all these different things. And I think that's what WWE isn't thinking about. Like, yeah, it might be like, okay, we're gonna save some money, let's cut this guy off the books. But on the other hand, you got to think about like the morality of the locker room, right? And like if the locker room morale is down, and if this guy is a huge guy, a huge part of that, if he's there cracking jokes every Monday or Friday, whatever day he's on, and that makes everyone happier, and that makes everybody come to work and perform at their best because they know R-Truth is going to be there, then maybe you keep that guy around. It reminds me of like when you're at a job and then either like the funny guy either quits or gets fired, and then the job's just not the same anymore.
right.
And then slowly you start seeing everybody starts dropping like flies out of that job because it's just not the same. So I kind of feel that, and I've seen a lot of different wrestlers come out and say like, damn, like the locker room's not going to be the same, like the show is not going to be the same. So like it seems like maybe like like if Vince was running, maybe he would have kept him around as like a lifetime guy. Maybe drop his contract a little bit, not pay him as much. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe they offered him a lower rate and he was like, nah, I'm not taking that. I could go somewhere else. And maybe he's going to bet on himself. He is a little older. So it's like, maybe, I don't know, like, I feel like he has a lot left in the tank. R-Truth is pretty healthy. He seems like he's in good shape. He had a pretty good match against Cena, even though it was only like a 5-minute match. But he's always been a pretty good talent, going back to the NWA days when he became the first ever African American NWA champ. So like he definitely had a lot of untapped potential. I feel like he got typecasted into like that comedic role a little too much. I wonder if maybe he got tired of that and he was like, hey, I want to do more. Like there's so much we don't know about this, right? Since it's not a actual release, it's just they're not re-signing him. So it's almost like it's a little different than like when they just release like 12 wrestlers out of nowhere. It's more like, hey, we're just not re-signing this guy. And maybe he just was too expensive, but I don't know, man. It seems like one of those, like, this might bite them in the ass in a little bit, just because if I'm a wrestler and I'm working there and my whole goal is to be a lifetime WWE superstar, maybe get a backstage position one day, do I have that confidence now, seeing that they just like didn't re-sign R-Truth, somebody who's at that valuable to like the company? And the locker room and all that. I don't know. I feel like this is one of those things where it's like a turning point almost when it comes to WWE. Like, it's like, okay, you could give us your all, dedicate 15 years, and at the end of the day, you got nothing to show for it. We're gonna give you a pat on the back and be like, thanks for your service, you know. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's one of those moves where I'm like, damn, WWE, I hope you know what I hope you thought this out, because this might bite you in the ass. The fans. We saw the fans already chanting, "We want truth" on Monday. I don't think it's gonna last too long because fans are gonna forget. You know, it's just the nature of the business, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I wonder if the locker room, I wonder how the locker room's gonna feel as we keep looking at these releases, and if more releases start coming. Like, I'm almost like, if I'm backstage, I'm like, damn, I'm head on a swivel. You never know when a call, I might get a call and be like, yo, your time is up.
Word up.
I think it seems like they're getting rid of the older guys, which kind of makes sense from a business move. Like, why am I gonna pay an R-Truth or a Carlito or a Miz, however much they're getting paid, when I could pull out one of these 20-year-olds fresh out of college, put them in the PC, give them a third or even less of what I'm paying an R-Truth, and build a star. You know, WWE is a machine at the end of the day, and they could build a star just by putting them on TV, basically. So I don't know, business move, it makes sense, but fan wise, I'm like, damn, you could have done R-Truth a little better than that. You could have gave him like an actual retirement run, not just like put him in a match against Cena and then all of a sudden, oh shit, he's not here anymore, you know?
Yeah, man. I agree. There's certain aspects of what you guys said where I'm like, at the end of the day, it's a business, and we have seen these mass releases from WWE in terms of talent. And R-Truth is no different, guys. Listen, R-Truth is a national treasure. He's the morale guy in the back. He's the guy who is cracking the jokes and gets everybody going for the day. Listen, the wrestlers speak very highly of him. And he's a guy that I personally would keep around, right? I wouldn't pay him as much because he's not wrestling as much. I'm not utilizing as much, but he is the guy who could kind of keep that glue steady and keep everybody on their toes and keep everyone kind of just in good spirits, right? But on the business side, like you guys said, why am I paying R-Truth all this money? Why am I paying Carlito, who barely wrestles? I have nothing for them. And yes, Miz is the media guy. He does all that stuff for WWE, yes. And he's good at it. And I would keep him around like they kept Titus O'Neil for no reason, doing all the father-son make-a-wish stuff, whatever he was doing, right? I think he's still on payroll. I don't know.
I think he is.
Right?
He is.
So why don't you just shift the contract in that direction or something like that, right? Like, why don't you just maybe do something different with them, and to do R-Truth like that, who's like a veteran, who's been in the business forever, who and you don't give homeboy like a proper sending off, like talk to him, be like, listen, Truth, in 6 months, we're not going to renew this contract, but we want to give you a hell of a run, right? And then from that run, we're going to transition you into producer ABCD, whatever, and go from there. But to do that, it just shows that WWE at the end of the day is a corporation, and it's about the dollar, and they don't care about 15 years, 25 years, 35 years. We're done with you. Kick in the butt. See you later. We might invite you to host a Nickelodeon special and whatever on WWE meets Nickelodeon or the cartoon channel crap. Whatever they need them for, they'll reach out to Truth. But I just feel like the ending is just kind of anticlimactic for an R-Truth and even a Miz. And I'm not high on either one of them. But in terms of the way to go out, could have done my boys better.
It's a good point. Y'all brought up a very good point where R-Truth could have gotten a send off, a proper send off for everything that he's done for the company and for the business. But on the business side of it, they offered him less. I read today they offered him less money than what he's making now. So from the perspective of R-Truth, he's probably like, man, I'm sticking around and making really good money now, but you want to give me less, and I'm just on TV like a jackass every week. I mean, it's entertaining, but no one is ever considering R-Truth to be headlining WrestleMania, winning a Royal Rumble match. Like, if he's an entrant in the Royal Rumble match, you know for a fact that he's getting eliminated. And there's even a strong possibility that he's getting eliminated within 30 seconds because that's the perception that people have of R-Truth. He's entertaining, but he is a quote unquote jobber at this point in his career. Mm-hmm. So it's twofold. He could have gotten a send off, sure, but are we? If I'm WWE, am I going to invest all of that time and all of those resources into giving R-Truth a proper send off?
Very good point. Yeah, that's where no, and at the end of the day, like
no,
like and people were like, oh, did Triple H have anything to do with it? Did he was he the final say? Listen, Truth ain't getting fired or released or contract not getting renewed unless Triple H has something to do with it. I don't want to hear that it's only TKO. I don't want to hear that. I think TKO has a lot of respect for H. Yes, they're the bigger bosses. At the end of the day, it's kind of their vision. But I think they're letting H kind of do what he wants to creatively. I think what we're seeing is H with the influence of TKO, but a release or a non-negotiation or contract renewal like this, I think H had the final say. I think he was like, listen, well,
maybe
we'll invite him to the Hall of Fame. How's that? In the next year or two, Truth will be in the Hall of Fame. I guarantee.
Yeah,
that's and that's what they're going to give him.
Now, a decade from now, if it's 53-year-old Randy Orton is getting a send off because he's Randy Orton.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So people also have to consider that too. It also depends on the talent. R-Truth never held the WWE Championship. I mean, R-Truth was rarely holding gold. You know, he had that bullshit 24/7 title. He may have been I think a tag team champion at one point. I think he was a United States champion, but you get my point. Like he wasn't at that level where he was world championship material.
Yeah.
I mean, prior to making his return to WWE, because we know his TNA run and all that. But yeah, man, yeah, it sucks, but who knows? Who knows what's waiting for him on the other side? Maybe he'll get a producer job or as an on-screen talent in another promotion. There's other places to work. So I don't feel that bad for R-Truth because there's other places to work. It doesn't have to be AEW. Like there's other places that he can go.
Oh yeah, 100%. And if he's smart and if WWE offered him a producer job, I take it. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be that means you're the influence in the back. You can lift these young people up who's coming through the system. You can help them with the morale and the feeling of what's happening in the back in the locker rooms. There's things for him to do. I don't want to see Truth in the ring. I don't need to see him in the ring. I honestly didn't think he was that funny. I'm sorry. He ain't funny. I didn't find anything he did that funny. I'm just nothing funny enough to warrant me keeping you for another 4 years on a major contract. I'm sorry, we're not doing that. You take the producer role, or right down south, there's a place called AEW in Florida. You can see if they're going to sign you to do something down there. You can go down, bro. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. What are you offering me? Cutthroat. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Listen, I'm giving you two options, Truth. We're giving you Hall of Fame, and I'm giving you a producer spot. You take that, or you go down south. I don't know. You
and look, and Jacksonville. I'm the administrator. I think I ought to switch roles with Kayode.
Yeah, man. But listen, yo, that's a little bit of the administrative report. Lewis, thank you for that. But we need to get to a haters club.
Oh,
I thought that was the hater club.
We need to get to a haters club law, and
that was the prelude.
That was the prelude. That was the prelude. It really, really saddens me to have to put this person on an official haters club. And recently, in the past few weeks, I've been doing these haters clubs, which means Joel has a lot more love than I do. Apparently, a lot more love lately.
You gotta change your name to the hater.
I gotta change my Kayode the hater. Lewis, fellas, we've had this conversation via text, and I man, this week's haters club goes to, and I'm gonna get I'm gonna put this clip up. I'm gonna get cooked, but it's okay. It's okay.
You should get cooked.
I'm gonna get at least one random person who says, you know what? I kind of feel you. Maybe one. I might get one. This week's haters club goes to none other than Stephanie Vaquer, guys. Stephanie Vaquer is getting a haters club, and let me break this down. Not because I think she is trash or anything like that. I just don't think she's as great as the hype that she was brought in on. That's all. I think she's good. I just don't think she's all that. I don't think she's a needle mover. I don't think she is a culture changer. I think she is in her world, in her box, as Stephanie Vaquer, and she does what she does well, but not to the point where I'm calling her the greatest, or I'm calling her the best woman, the best women's champ in WWE, or a needle push or needle mover. She ain't there for me. I think it's a lot of things. I think the language barrier is a little something. I think her non-expressive emotional face, the blank stare, bothers me. The only thing she has going for her is her theme, and I don't even like that either. And the video wall, which I think is just generic with the horns and all that. I just don't think she is exciting. Like the in-ring is okay. It's better than a lot of women that I've seen before wrestle. It's okay, but I just don't think she's great. I just don't think she's all that. I think there is a lot to be desired. I think there is more to be done. I think there is untapped talent that we can get into with her. I think there's feuds and programs that we could put her in that she can excel in. Everything I've seen her in so far has just been okay. It's just been okay. I don't know. I don't know. She's just been okay.
You suck. Listen, Joel and I were shaking our heads the whole time. Man, I'm mad at Kayode, okay? Because I cannot believe you hating on my girl Stephanie. Are you out of your damn mind? Out of all the women that you gotta hate on, you hating on Stephanie Vaquer, this world-class talent. World-class. Last June, 12 months ago, she had her quote-unquote audition match with Mercedes in AEW. That's what got her signed to the big show to begin with. Because the match was great. Like, Stephanie, you're definitely underselling. Stephanie is a very good worker. She's athletic, and I feel like she's one of those people that can fit in the WWE style because she just has that in-ring presence. Now, let's just talk about her presentation for a second. Yes, there's going to be a language barrier because she's not 100% proficient in English.
Right.
But her English isn't terrible either, and that's not something that can't be fixed. Because even when I'm listening to her pronounce her words and things like that, it's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I think she can get by better than someone like Andrade or a Shinsuke. More language coaching.
I lumped her and all of them in the same box.
Nah.
All of them in the same box.
Nah.
That's why Asuka. Listen, Asuka was great.
But look, Asuka became a freaking superstar.
Champion.
Yeah, she's great, and I think she is the exception where the barrier didn't bury her. Like the language barrier did not destroy her.
I like that.
You saw that. Right? You saw it, right?
Barrier didn't bury her.
Did not bury her, right? Like she everything else was on point. I just feel like Stephanie is missing the charisma, the star. Like I just feel like it's I don't know.
I am disagreeing 100%. Yeah. That is part of her package, her character. She is known for like somewhat of being a stoic personality, right? Like she's got the blank stares, but it's not a blank stare that doesn't evoke a reaction, because you saw her Raw debut. If people were apathetic towards Stephanie, they would be giving her golf clap type reactions. She was over from the moment she stepped in NXT, and now on Raw. And I don't even remember what city they were in, but it doesn't even matter, because like the crowd popped for her. Like the visuals are there with like the red demonic theme. Like she has a cool look for a woman who's on the main roster, especially right now. When I think of superstars on the marquee, her face and her look fits perfectly on the side of a production truck, on a marquee. I could see action figures and collectibles if I'm going down the aisles at Target. She has it. She has it. She can wrestle. Not everybody's going to have a bubbly personality. Asuka has a bubbly personality because she just has that side of her. But there's something for everyone, right? And everything is not going to be for everyone. So, I respect your opinion on, Stephanie not doing much for you. But I disagree. I'm not saying that I agree with her. I respect the opinion, because your opinion is your opinion. Well, Joel's like, fuck you, man. Now, I am, and let me comment on the needle mover comment that you made. We don't know if she's a needle mover because it's too soon. It's too soon. She just debuted on the main roster. But I will say this. She probably did get called up to the main roster a little too quickly. And I noticed that's a different topic, but I noticed that WWE is doing that a lot these days, where they're calling up NXT folks within less than a year. They're not even giving them a whole lot of time to endear themselves even more to the NXT audience. But, again, that's a separate topic. But going back to Stephanie, I absolutely think that she is going to be a star. This woman is a star, and she's got the sexy. She's got the body. Booker T is not doing the whole for no reason. Like
she got that.
She has it. She has it. So fuck the haters club for this episode. Stephanie is my girl.
Joel, am I? I feel you're siding with Lewis on this one. Am I correct?
Yes, you're bugging, bro. First of all, disclaimer: I created the Hater Club. The official Hater Club does not agree with this week's Hater Club induction. We're gonna scratch this one for the record books. Stephanie Vaquer is never gonna be in the Hater Club. But anyway, I think two things. It's way too early to tell, like Lewis said, if she's a needle mover or not. But like Lewis said, they were in freaking Tulsa, Oklahoma.
That's where they were. Right, Tulsa. Yeah.
She got a pop, bro. I don't think there's any Spanish people in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So that means it's working. Second of all, I think what we're not thinking about is the language barrier actually might help. When has WWE ever had a Latina superstar that speaks Spanish like that? They tried it with Rey Mysterio. They tried it with Andrade. All these guys, they always try to hit the Spanish market with these guys, and it never really works out. But maybe a female being on there speaking Spanish, that actually might help them. It might help them build that new audience. Hey, I know if I was watching that with my mom and my dad, and they saw her speaking Spanish, they'd pop. They'd be like, "Oh shit, she's actually speaking Spanish." And that's never been seen, actual Latina on WWE. So I think that's an untapped potential right there. And then also, I think what we haven't seen yet, and when we do see it, I think is when you're gonna see it as well, is when she's standing across from a Bianca Belair in the ring, or Rhea Ripley in the ring.
Rhea Ripley, we saw that on Monday.
Exactly. And when you see them match up and actually have a match in the ring, I think that's when you'll be like, okay, I get it. Because I feel like she fits in perfectly. I think she has the look. She doesn't look undersized like a Roxanne Perez. She doesn't look. She looks like she has a good body, like physical presence. Not even just like hot. Like she just has a good physical presence. Like she looks believable in the ring. She looks like she could kick ass. And I think that stoic nature actually helps her as well, because she kind of is like that. I'm just here to kick ass. And she's done it everywhere she's gone. She went to CMLL. She won all the titles there. She went to AEW, had a great match with Mercedes. Went to NXT, won all the women's titles there within like a span of 2 months. So, and maybe they did call her up a little too early, but I think that has to do, it seems like they're calling up a lot of the women early. And I think that's because they have Evolution coming up, the women's pay-per-view. So they're probably like, let's stack that card. Let's bring up everybody, which makes sense. But I do think it's almost like a crash and burn, like either crash or fly type thing. Like, we're going to put you out there, see what you could do. Yeah, your language might not be up to par yet, but let's see how far we could get you without even really like tapping into the English side of things yet. And so far, it seems like the crowd loves her. She like Lewis said, she has a great look. She has the horns. It seems like it's almost like an old school gimmick, because, like nowadays wrestlers don't really come out with like costumes and stuff like that. Like that was more like an 80s thing, but it definitely feels like the audience has like some type of connection with her. And then like Lewis said, man, she's incredible in the ring. She has like a whole different type of style compared to most of the wrestlers in WWE. So I feel like it's also like it gives it more of like a shoot feel almost. Like even in this match on Raw, I think Liv Morgan was all busted open after it, and like maybe she's green because she's hurting people, but like it's almost like strong style almost, which is not seen in WWE, especially in the women's side. So maybe it's not like a perfect fit yet, but I think they'll be able to mold her into that superstar that I believe she's definitely gonna end up being when it's all said and done.
You know where the money is gonna come in. And you, Kayode, you're going to eat my words. You're going to eat Joel's words. Actually, you're going to eat your own words. However it works. The real money with Stephanie Vaquer is going to come in when she's over enough to where that heel turn, when that heel turn happens, she is going to be one of the greatest female heels this company has ever seen.
Whoa. You go
times. This episode will live forever for me saying that. Like Stephanie Vaquer, it's there. Like she's over with the crowd right now. She's gonna get to that point where when that heel turn happens, she is going to be such a fantastic heel.
In 6 months, Stephanie Vaquer will be regulated to the mid card.
Hell no.
6 months.
Hell no.
She's gonna have
clip this.
Hell no. You saying by the time January comes?
She's gonna have her matches with Bianca. She's gonna have her matches with Rhea. It's gonna be they're gonna be great or whatever. But I'm calling it right now.
But
Stephanie Vaquer is not going to maintain the star status, the superstar that. I'm telling you right now, she's going to get dropped, and they're going to forget about her. And I'm calling it right now. You know why? Because WWE right now has an abundance of women that they are, like you guys just said, they're calling up women like crazy from NXT, because the NXT women's, they're stacked. They have to call them up because there's no room for everybody. The next crop of NXT women that you see are more athletic. And they're building them like WWE's a machine. They are manufacturing the stars they want to push. So once they get pushed to the main card or Raw or SmackDown, they're already the way they want them to be, right? They got the two winners from LFG, right? Who are great. Two black, like they're great. Jasper Troy and all this stuff. The guy is about to face Obafemi. He's over. Like, I'm just saying that the women's division is a little stacked in terms of there's a lot of people, there's a lot of women in there, and I think when Stephanie gets it going, she'll get going. She'll have a push. She'll have all of that. She'll be big. But I think as the time goes down or goes by, WWE will do what WWE does and is going to recycle her and say, okay, who's next? Who's the hottest? Who's the next athletic? And they're going to push her right into the slot Stephanie should have been in. And it's going to be that cycle over and over. I'm telling you right now, 6 months. Clip this.
But Kayode, you're saying that women's roster is stacked this and stacked that. How many people are as good or better than Stephanie Vaquer in the crop of NXT folk? I'm sorry, she's on the main roster now. I'm not putting Liv Morgan over her. I'm not putting Roxanne Perez over her.
Overall package. You're not putting any of them over her. Overall, like everything.
Stephanie Vaquer is better than Liv Morgan. Stephanie Vaquer is better than Raquel Rodriguez. Stephanie Vaquer is better than Roxanne Perez. Stephanie Vaquer is better than Zelina Vega. Stephanie Vaquer is better than even Kairi Sane at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like I love Kairi Sane, but your prediction is that she's going to fall off in 6 months. My prediction is in 7 months, she wins the Royal Rumble. Ooh. Mark my words, Stephanie Vaquer will win
Royal Rumble.
She will win the 2026 Royal Rumble women's match.
Let's fucking go.
That is my prediction. 7 months from now, Stephanie Vaquer wins the female Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia next year.
That will be month number 7. Okay.
Well, it's whenever January, late January, whatever it is. I know, Kayode. I know that hurts.
It sounds like we got a bet, fellas.
I didn't even think about it.
We're gonna have to wager on this.
I didn't think about the Royal Rumble. But I'm gonna say she's not winning that Royal Rumble.
The money. Listen, you saw the exchange on Raw Joel, you hit on a brilliant point. When you start to see her match up with, and when I say match up, I don't just mean like versus in the squared circle. I mean like just standing across the ring from another person like a Rhea Ripley, like a Bianca Belair. Money. Stephanie Vaquer is going to be groomed from this point forward to headline WrestleMania in a match for the women's title next year. That is the trajectory because Stephanie Vaquer has it. Now, how the fans respond by the time WrestleMania comes around and, they start to turn on her, that's beyond our whatever we're predicting and beyond our control. But that is the trajectory because you need a fresh star going into the future. Stephanie Vaquer fits the bill. She fits the profile. You can't use Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair every fucking year, because it starts to get old. Same thing with Becky Lynch. Can't use, you know what I'm saying? Becky Lynch is on a good heel run right now, so that's fresh, but you got to have that fresh talent. You call up Lola Vice next week, Lola Vice is not there. She's not there like the way Stephanie Vaquer.
No, she's very green in the ring, but
because Lola Vice hasn't wrestled in CMLL and in South America,
but
and in Japan. You know what I'm saying?
But to me,
who are you gonna slap? I
don't know.
Who wins the Royal Rumble next year? Roxanne Perez? Hell no, bro.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Look where she ended last year. I mean, this year. Look where they placed her.
That's true. Because Stephanie Vaquer wasn't on the main roster.
But
you're gonna tell me that if Stephanie Vaquer and Roxanne Perez were the last two women in Royal Rumble, optics. You're gonna tell me that it's believable that Roxanne Perez eliminates her?
It depends on where they both are in terms of their star, like the superstar status. It depends. It depends it depends, man. Like, I don't know. I just listen. I'm not saying she's trash. I'm not saying she's trash. I'm just saying I just don't see the superstar y'all see. I'm just,
bruh. All it's
We're
gonna take.
gonna visit this conversation. We're gonna revisit this clip.
I will
This
humbly
clip right here
I
next
will
January.
humbly do one of these if you guys are right.
Yeah,
Joe, what's up?
I was gonna say all it's gonna take is Stephanie Vaquer standing across the ring from Rhea Ripley or Bianca Belair, and we're gonna get this is awesome chance. You're gonna get holy shit chance before they even touch, and that's how you know she's a star. Because just seeing them two facing off each other, just seeing them two have a little backstage interaction, got a huge pop. Internet went crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's she has it, man. She has a superstar. Something about her just says superstar. It's her look. It's her in-ring style. She doesn't even need to speak a lick of English, bro. She could literally be. She could be mute. She'll be fine. She'll be 100% fine. She's good, and I think like Lewis said, they need a new crop. Like, yeah, you can't have Rhea, Bianca there all the time. Becky, Bailey, Charlotte, they're getting older towards the tail end of their career. So yeah, you need that new crop. You need Roxanne, you need Steph, you need Julia, you need all of these girls. That's why I'm not saying either one of them is going to be better than the other. I think they all have a great trajectory. But I do feel like Steph is the standout right now. Out of those three, Julia, Steph, and Roxanne, Steph is the standout. Steph comes out and people pay attention. Roxanne is in the background of a Judgment Day story. Julia, I don't know what she's doing on SmackDown.
Exactly.
And, but like Steph, she comes out, the crowd pays attention, man. So she's a superstar.
Yeah, because if they wanted to, with Julia, with regards to her, Julia is going to be up there too. Like this is obviously the future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if WWE really wanted to, and they really saw that same potential that they see with Stephanie Vaquer, Julia would have been clearly evident with Julia being catapulted into that role. Like, how is it that Stephanie Vaquer already is qualifying for Money in the Bank on her Raw debut? You know what I'm saying? And yes, they could be just fast forwarding her push, or if you will. But
listen, man, we'll listen. We'll see it. We'll clip it. We'll do all of that. I'm calling it 6 months. I might go up to a year on that. I might go.
Oh no!
But no, I'm staying with 6 months. I'm staying with 6 months. I'm staying with it. 6 months. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. But let's move. Now we got to move on because now we got to talk about some NXT debuts.
Speaking,
we had a major. Not major, I guess a debut that we all kind of knew was coming. We kind of saw it coming. We had none other than the glamorous, whatever her name is going to be. They're saying that she's going to change her name. They're going to obviously change the name, but she's here.
So funny, the glamorous images.
Yeah,
they won't put her name yet.
They won't put the name yet because they're still workshopping it. That's why they're still thinking about what.
Why do they keep doing this? Why do they keep debuting people without figuring out their names yet?
Because they want the pop of they just want that instant social media pop. That's why.
That's so funny.
Now, fellas, let me tell you something. I enjoyed everything she did with Toni Storm. That's the highlight of her career up until now. We'll see what she does in WWE, but that is her resume, essentially. Now, is she going to be as impactful in WWE NXT as she was in AEW? Apparently, she took a pay cut, allegedly, because there's promises. We'll put you in Mania. You'll get a title shot. You'll get all this stuff, right? But apparently, she allegedly took a pay cut or whatever. I don't know that to be true. That's just what's out in the dirt sheets. What will she make an impact in NXT? Joe, what do you think? Like, is she a needle mover?
Nah, I don't think she's a needle mover, but I think she'll make an impact in NXT for sure. I think she's gonna end up being the NXT Women's Champion. I think that's probably why they put the title on JC Jane, because that seems like an easy transitional champ. Get Mariah May to win that title, and then we'll see from there. I have trouble seeing her on the main roster just because I feel like she's very similar to Tiffy.
Yeah.
Right.
when it comes to character. I am interested to see what they do with her, because like her character in AEW, being obsessed with Tony Storm, I think that's what made her so like over, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're gonna just try to run that story again with another wrestler. I don't know if she could do it with like Becky Lynch or something. I don't know what they're gonna do, but like we haven't seen much besides, like you said, that's her resume. So
yeah,
it's up to, I guess that's why it makes sense to put her in NXT. You know, she's not I don't think she's main roster ready yet. To put her in NXT, let's build out her character a little more, see what she could do. But yeah, I mean, she's another one of these women superstars that is going to be the next crop. Like, you know, like you said, NXT's women's division is incredible. You got Jada Parker down there. You got Lola Vice. You got Kalani Jordan, Sol Ruka. The list goes on. So she's going to fit in well there, and I'm sure it's going to put on a bunch of banger matches, and then we'll see from there. I don't know if she's going to be as big of a, I don't know if you want to call it heist from AEW as they think it's going to be. I think it's more like her and Tony Storm is what made like her popular. So without Tony Storm, let's see if she could like sink or swim, basically.
Exactly. Lou, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I agree with that very point that Joel made with regards to Mariah May and her ascension in AEW because of Tony Storm. First of all, Mariah May wasn't even in AEW for a long time.
No, she wasn't, man.
What was
Like
it, like
year.
2 years? 2.5 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
3 years, something like that. And when they did the turn for her on Tony Storm, which was like, what, a year ago? We all thought, man, they did that kind of fast.
Yeah.
Because I felt like that part of the story could have been fleshed out and festered a little longer. But, you know, it was what it was, because then she went on to win the women's title, and she had a decent women's title run. But I feel like Mariah May's great, and Mariah May was doing some very good work. You know, I don't want to take anything away from her as a singles act. But a lot of what made her shine in AEW was because she had such a terrific dance partner in Tony Storm.
Right.
In Tony Storm's absence, when Mariah May was the women's world champion, we always kept on wondering in the back of our minds, like, when is Tony Storm coming back? When is
the run was a little
feud?
stale?
Yeah. So once Tony Storm did make her return, then we were off to the races with what I have to say has been the best women's angle of the last 5 years, maybe longer.
I think ever.
And right, you know, as a matter of fact, it's one of the greatest women's feuds, rivalries of all time, dare I say. You know, they put on a match of the year contender at Revolution. But then that was it for Mariah May. So on one part of me is disappointed because we didn't get to see more of what Mariah May could do without Tony Storm in AEW. But then another part of me is glad that she's in WWE now, because we could see where she's going to land in terms of feuding with other types of personalities. But my fear is, you hit on it, Joel, with that whole glamorous gimmick, right? Don't we already have that with Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair? I feel like there's another glamorous person somewhere.
Yeah.
It won't, if they're not careful, it won't come across as very original and unique. Now the British accent, fine, that's great, but Mariah May's test now is going to be, how far can she stand apart from everyone else? Because we know everything that she did in AEW with Tony Storm, that was great. And I'm not saying that she didn't have good matches, but the real bread and butter in her AEW run, as short-lived as it was the rivalry with Tony Storm. And Tony Storm is exceptional. So let's see what she does in NXT.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I don't have high hopes for this one. I don't, and I think it's because of the similarities and gimmicks and personalities and character and whatnot. I don't know if she has enough to stand out in WWE. In AEW it was different because AEW kind of recycled their top 5.
Yeah.
And she was always in the top 2. her and Tony, right, for a long time with that feud, and even before the feud, like when she was like just her lackey, just kind of hanging around, right? My question is, what the hell happened with AEW where she just decided one day that she was good enough to jump ship and go to WWE and just call it a wraps? AEW is literally where you got your biggest start from. They gave you the title. You had the title for a while. They put you in the biggest program you could be in the company. They made you a star. You were out every week doing your thing. Where did it go wrong? Like, I don't like, where did it go wrong, right? And especially if the rumors are true that she took less money just to be there because she wanted to be on the bigger stage, I feel like this was like a premature jump to the big leagues. Like it was like the person who comes in with the resume and they have that one thing that stands out, yet everything else has nothing to do with the job requirements. Like you look at it, you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe you could do it. And then and then they put you in the job and you're kind of doing it, but it's not to the limits that they want you to. I think that's what's going to happen here. I think she's going to rock for a while. She'll hold the title, like Joel said, all that good stuff. But then, what else are we gonna do with you? Like, Charlotte? I guess we put her against and she's not that good of a wrestler yet to be. I think she's gonna get exposed, especially if she's in the ring with a lot of like your big time, like a Rhea, like a Charlotte, like a Bayley, like a Becky Lynch. You throw her in the ring with any of those right now, I don't know if she's going to be able to go toe to toe with that. Not yet. So I think keeping her in NXT might be the best thing for now until she gets her legs under. I don't know.
You know, I don't think that anything went wrong per se with AEW. Because I was also reading that she didn't leave on any bad terms, as far as like contract offerings and whatnot. But maybe, and that's just me speculating, her plan, her ultimate goal is to branch off into Hollywood. And WWE is the perfect vehicle for that just because of how gigantic they are, how mainstream they are. So, go ahead and sign a 2-3 year contract, whatever it is, and extend it. But Mariah May is attractive, right? She's got a look. So if she makes it to a certain level in WWE, I'm not saying that she has to be winning the Royal Rumble and main eventing WrestleMania every year, but if she makes it to a certain level, then 8 Hollywood agents are going to start calling, and so that could be part of her goal ultimately. Like, I want to work for the big wrestling company, and then I want to branch off and do other things like movies, modeling, like whatever it is that's out there in the entertainment industry. That's just me speculating, but that could be part of the reasoning why she was willing to take a pay cut and go to WWE.
Well, Mariah May made her, she probably not going to be called Mariah May, the glamorous something or glamorous whatever.
Mary March.
Mary March.
I heard Mary June.
We'll see what happens with her in NXT. She'll probably win the title in about 2 weeks. So we'll see about that. But let's get to Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank. Worlds collide. I was watching AEW tonight, fellas, with a lot of luchadors on the show. A lot of luchadors actually were on the show. And there is no way Worlds Collide is going to come even close to the wrestling that the luchadors in AEW gave us versus what those people or whatever they're going to try to do, mixing WWE guys with seasoned AAA wrestlers. Like, I don't know if it's going to look good. I don't know if it's going to be even. I don't know. It's just not entertaining. It does not seem interesting to me. And what makes it even worse is that they're running 2 shows in one day, I think, right? Mm-hmm. Because I think the Worlds Collide is early in the day. And then you got Money in the Bank so far, 4 matches.
Crazy.
4 matches for this card. And I'm looking at the matches. You got the 2 Money in the Bank matches. Should be okay, I guess. The men's is not interesting to me at all. I'm looking at The women's a little more so because it could go to either way. Then you got Becky Lynch versus Lyra. They're really trying with this, guys. They are really trying to get Lyra red hot here, and it ain't working. Lyra's just, I love Lyra. Lyra's cool. She could go in the ring. She just is not interesting enough for the crowd to get behind. And Becky is trying. They are trying, but no one cares. Like, I don't care about this. Like, why you're wasting Becky? I get you try to get her over, but it's not working. And then you got the main event. The last time is now. You got John Cena and Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso in a tag team match. Guys, this card is absolute trash. I'm sorry. It's trash. It is a waste of money. This is a highway robbery scheme from WWE to pull you in to be like, oh, we got Jey Uso. We can all eat together for about 15 minutes while he makes his way from the top of the damn arena down to the very bottom. That's about 15 minutes. He's eating with kids. Kids is getting in the way. He's pushing people out the way. Have you seen Jey Uso come down the aisle, come down that? He's literally pushing dudes out the way really hard. Like, it's very aggressive. Jay, you got to chill out. You got to relax, Jay. You pushing people out the way way too hard. But guys, this PLE, Worlds Collide, what is it? What is WWE trying to do here? Like, this card is no good. And if you're giving me 4 matches for a $400 seat I just paid for,
yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, guys. This is WWE is getting wild. They are running a Ponzi scheme as we see it. They're like, hey, just invest right now and we'll give you something down the line. Like, no. Come on, man. Come on. Where you guys at with this? Joe, what's this card about? You going? You
I don't think any of us are going.
Definitely not going. I don't even know if I'll be watching. I'll probably maybe I'll catch it after or something. But man, yeah, I think this is just the culmination of what's been happening. And as long as people keep watching, they're gonna keep getting away with this. It's just what it is. Like, we started
4
off
matches, bro.
We started off with 5 match cards and we thought that was crazy. Now we're going down to 4 match cards. Pretty soon it's going to be 1 match card. It's going to be like spectacle. I'm not even joking. I could totally see them doing a spectacle type card where we do like 1 big match, Cena versus somebody, and it's like almost like a Logan Paul boxing type thing. Because think about it, they're on Netflix now. Netflix puts on those Logan Paul boxing matches all the time, Jake Paul boxing matches, whatever. So maybe that's the and TKO owns it. TKO's in the promoting of fights business. So maybe they're thinking, hey, we could build cards off of 1 big match, have a bunch of undercard matches that nobody cares about, and that's all we need to do. And right now, people are going to arenas to see John Cena because it is the last time they're going to see John Cena.
Yeah.
Even though we're not liking the storyline, there is a lot of people there to see John Cena. You see the people in the crowds with the t-shirts. Every city has their t-shirt. People are buying the merch. He's still a merch, like, he's still pushing all the merch that he can, even though he's a heel. It makes no sense, but whatever. And I think that's what they're banking on. They're banking on the fact that they could sell out an arena just by putting on a card like this. They don't have to do much. And as long as we keep watching and buying tickets as collectively as fans, they're going to keep doing this until they could get away with it. And right now they're still getting away with it. So it is what it is. Like looking at this card right now, it doesn't seem that exciting. The women's Money in the Bank is stacked.
Right.
It's stacked. Speaking of the 3 women that we mentioned before too, like Stephanie, Julia, and Roxanne, all 3 in there. So that should be fun. You got Alexa Bliss, Rhea, and Naomi. Yeah, that's a great stacked lineup right there. Men's Money in Bank, it is what it is. I can't believe El Grande Americano. How they really put it. I can't believe they're still doing this gimmick. But I guess it's fun or whatever. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. Like, it just seems like they're throwing stuff at the wall right now. Like the Cody, Jay, and Logan Cena segment from SmackDown last week was terrible.
Yeah.
So bad. You telling me that Cena has like 22 2 dates left, and you wasted one of those dates on a 5-minute promo to end the show. Like, what's up with your timing? Why didn't you bring this guy out earlier? Give him 20 minutes to speak. This is the last time we're gonna see Cena. Why are we wasting him on a feud with Logan Paul and Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes? What are they doing? This is literally the worst retirement run I've ever seen in wrestling. Yeah. Honestly, like, compare this to Sting's last run in AEW. Like, Sting's last run in AEW was incredible. It was
very good.
Incredible. Like, this is John Cena. This is your GOAT. You keep saying he's your GOAT, 17-time world champion. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this story where he hates wrestling and he wants to ruin wrestling, but then at the same time, he wants Logan Paul to be the future of wrestling? What? That makes no sense. He literally said, I want to ruin wrestling, but Logan Paul is going to be the one to keep this company running. Logan Paul is the one who pays your mortgage. He said that to Jey Uso. Logan Paul pays your mortgage. What are we talking about? This is stupid. This is so dumb. This is literally insulting the intelligence of every single fan. Everyone. Like, this is terrible. We've been ranting about how bad this Cena storyline is, and now it's affecting the PLEs to the point where they could just throw in a random Cena match and they think that's okay. Yeah, put that hater club. I'm hating on everything right now.
This is the proper haters club.
It's yeah. No, retroactively remove the first one. I'm gonna clip it out when I edit the YouTube video. I'm censoring you.
I got censored.
Nah, on some real shit though, like, I don't know what they're doing. God bless WWE fans for putting up with this shit, but I don't think I'll be watching Money in the Bank live. I'll catch highlights. Maybe I'll catch the full show after the fact, but I'm not wasting my Saturday watching that PLE. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I ain't watching that live. And Lewis, I already know you ain't watching this live. So, Lewis, what's your thoughts, man?
No comment.
What is WWE doing?
No comment.
Yeah,
I think you and Joel have already said everything that I'm about to say. Like, this PLE is not worth my time. I can catch the highlights. If I wanted to watch any of those matches in real time, live as it unfolded, it would be the women's Money in the Bank ladder.
Yeah, exactly.
I have zero interest in that tag team main event. I have little to no interest in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Becky versus Lyra, I can catch the highlights afterwards because most likely Becky's going to win the title. I'm glad that I didn't pay $250, $300 to attend this event for this card, making me all the more happy that I didn't go out of my way to try to get SummerSlam tickets. You know what I mean? Because, and that's look, SummerSlam is probably going to be a good show for all intents and purposes because it's 2 nights, it's the WrestleMania of the summer, but because of WWE's current product, everything is just oversaturation right now. Why? I've never been a fan of them doing, and they've been doing this post-pandemic, where they have an afternoon event followed by an evening event. I think that's too much in the span of a day because you're not even letting the afternoon event sit. Like, you're not letting the fans ingest it and process it with ample time. Like, they've been doing that during WrestleMania weekend these last couple of years, where they'll have NXT Stand and Deliver on the same day of night one of WrestleMania. NXT Stand and Deliver should be on a separate date. It should be its own separate thing, like the way they used to do the NXT takeovers. But then fast forward to AEW All In Texas. That weekend, WWE wants to put out like 3 shows. Like, what is going on, man? Like, less is more. Whatever happened to that philosophy, less is more. You don't need to jam pack. I get that you have to have your big events, but first of all, you don't need to put it on the same weekend as the other company's biggest event because it just looks tacky. Because AEW has been promoting it and building it for the past year, literally. Secondly, You got SummerSlam right around the corner anyway, so why do you need so many fucking shows?
Yeah, right.
Why? Why do you need 5 PLEs prior to SummerSlam? I don't understand. Why do you need Money in the Bank, Worlds Collide, Great American Bash, Battleground? Like, why? You don't need that much. SummerSlam is literally like 2 months away. Put all of your focus on SummerSlam. Oh, isn't there a Saturday night's main event? Yes, Saturday night's main event is taking place the same day as All In Texas. Come on, it's too much. It's too much, and they're prioritizing quantity over quality at this point.
100%.
It's too much.
Yeah, man.
Too much.
The WWE. We had such high hopes when we heard Triple H was the man. He had the pen in his hand. He was the guy guiding the creative vision. Now it looks like I would just use this analogy. He is the puppet while TKO's hand is up his ass, and they're using him like a lamb chop puppet, Barney puppet kind of thing. Big Bird.
Lamb chop. Damn, a lamb chop reference. Yeah.
Lamb chop.
That just aged all of us right there.
Put Triple H's face right on that damn lamb chop puppet. I don't know what's happening, but Lewis said it best. It's quantity over quality. And right now, we're not getting the best quality. It's not complete trash, but it ain't great. And I got AEW's 4-hour spectacular on in the background, and everything they've been throwing on in terms of matches has been entertaining. Has been like, okay, I can watch this for another hour or so. Like the show is moving. And listen, before we go, this is a big chance for AEW to capitalize on everything WWE is kind of being shaky on. This is the chance to gain some viewers back. This is the chance to get some money going. This is the possible chance to move back into bigger arenas if you need to. I don't think they need to rush that because I like the small ones, but if they need to, you go back to it. This is where they need to strike, and AEW needs to strike first next. They can't be letting WWE come out of nowhere running 3 shows on the same weekend I'm running up my biggest show of my like that. If I was Tony, I'm thinking of some way to disrupt Vegas come next year. I'm thinking of AEW taking over Vegas with like 2 shows, 2 big shows, and just put themselves right in the middle of those shows, in the middle of Mania weekend. AEW needs to strike back, so we'll see how that goes. I don't know. We'll see. If AEW can AEW capitalize? That's the question. We'll see in a couple months. We'll also see Cardi B host SummerSlam, which is a burning dumpster fire of hell. I don't even want to see that. I don't want to see nothing with Cardi B on it. I don't want to see it, especially in my wrestling. I don't want to see it. But WWE, of course, is in the business of the money. She'll bring in the money. So
she's gonna help Cena win.
She'll help. Listen, if they put if she had anything to do with a match with Cena and interrupted whatever, okay, I'm not mad at it. But just to have her backstage talking nonsense and not knowing who's who and just kind of being stupid, like I don't want to see that shit. It's whack. It's whack. I don't want to see that. Like I didn't pay $500 for 2 nights for this. Like, what, are you kidding me? I don't want to see this. But we shall see, y'all. Fellas, anything else? Any final words before we go?
Godspeed.
Stephanie Vaquer will be a superstar.
You might be right. I'm probably gonna be eating this. My words.
We love you, Steph. Don't listen to this.
We love you, Steph. Listen, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us on episode 94 of On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. I'm your boy Kayode, joined by none other than Joel Lewis, the administrator. Join us next time for more show. Keep it locked in on our social medias, YouTube. Keep commenting on the TikTok pages, yo. The TikTok is doing well. We're getting a lot of comments, a lot of love. So keep it locked in with y'all. Until next time, y'all. Peace. Peace.
You have just listened to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, a Scriptly adapted production. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at On the Mark Wrestling. And email us on onthemarkpodcast@gmail.com.